with Lonzo or more disappointed in the Warriors' effort?
Yeah, I watched the game last night. I agree with Steve Kerr. They're not playing that hard. And their lineup of death that includes Iguodala with the big four, I think they're minus this year in the plus-minus deal. They're not playing that hard. They're taking the regular season for granted. I think that's my takeaway. If you look, even Cleveland, Boston, they're taking the regular season much more seriously than the Golden State Warriors. And so, to me, that was my takeaway. Call me a Lonzo hater. He was 5 of 12 last night. Oh, let's throw a parade.
By the way, Lonzo was very, very good. His dad said he'll be better than Steph. This was his first chance to take on Steph. Before they got to overtime, he was pretty good against Steph. He's pretty good. By the way, you can look at some numbers. We have graphs. We have people that work on these graphs and find these stats.
What do you got?
Most games with 10-plus assists. Lonzo's got 6. And by the way, he doesn't have a lot of finishers on that roster to get the ball to.
Listen, Whitlock, this isn't a triple-double against the Bucks or the Suns. This is going against the defending champs, the best point guard in the NBA. And he had a really good game, 15 and 10. I'm not expecting you to give him credit or dap him up or be excited. But if you are LeBron James and Paul George watching that game, you're like, listen, Lonzo Ball, he looks pretty good. Again, maybe it's just flashes. Maybe he hit three-pointers, put his players in position to score. 4 guys went over 20 points. Again, this is the best team in the NBA and the best point guard, and Lonzo had a very good game.
He's not getting shorter. He's long with good court vision. He's not getting shorter.
Not afraid to get to the rim.
Hot potato as well as any point guard I've ever seen.
Yeah, he does turn the ball over a lot, but for the most part, I think he watched our show when we said you need to stop listening to your coach, stop listening to your dad, just go out there and play basketball. He played better. He didn't look timid last game. I didn't expect him to go out and dominate Steph, not even close. It's probably his dad did, but I didn't. And he just came out and played solid, and that's what I wanted to see. I want to see him continue to grow. I'm not expecting too much from him.
There's this narrative that the Eastern Conference is horrible, especially after the top 2 or 3 teams, right? It's like Toronto's okay, Cleveland, Boston. Let me just say this. The West is no great shakes after about 3 teams either. And I was looking at this today. This is what happens in the NBA. The Warriors win a title. This is what happened to Shaq and Kobe. Remember that one of those, like the second title, they lost like 26 regular season games, then cruised to the playoffs. Right now, the Cavs have won 9 straight. Look at their next 10 games for the Cavs. Jason, the Cavs may just win 19 straight.
I hope.
The West is no better than the East when we throw the graphic up. It's no better than the East. Look at this lineup in the NBA. We got 3 teams that we know are good. Warriors are good, Cleveland's good, Houston's good, and
Boston's good.
Boston's fun. We'll see when the playoffs come.
Boston's good.
Boston's good.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give the Warriors a pass. They're waking up and look at their schedule, and they're like, come on. Look at God.
They've got 1 game circled on the calendar. You guys know that. Christmas Day, okay? The rematch against LeBron. That's all that matters. Get healthy, get to that game on a national TV audience. I'm not worried about them at all.
No, I said satisfied with that.
Yeah, remember.
We're all fans now, even Steven Jackson. You're satisfied
Listen, as an
with
outsider,
Golden State mailing in their performance.
I think back to Michael Jordan's Bulls, the 3rd year they struggled, only won 57 games. I think back to LeBron's Heat. Was it their 4th year? I think they were the 2nd seed. Remember, Paul George, I believe, got the 1st seed. There's just no concerns here. But a quick note on the Lakers. You look at the Western Conference, and Lonzo Ball, if he continues to improve, there's the 8th playoff seed that's going to be up for the taking. I'm not kidding. The Clippers are beat up badly.
They're done.
The Grizzlies just fired their coach. There are some OKC struggling. We'll get to them in a minute. But I'm telling you, the bottom of the West is very bad. The Mavericks.
It is.
The Lakers could sneak in with a 500
crazy.
record.
The West, we think the West is here and the East is here. It's a little closer than we think.
You've seen the Utah Jazz. They're not very good.
They're not bad. And one thing about Utah Jazz, they're going to compete. But one thing about Golden State, they might be cruising right now. Steve Kerr is not happy with it because they don't want to get no bad habits going into the end of the season. And you can't just turn it on because these teams are so great coming to the end of the season. So Golden State needs to pick it up, and I think Steve is going to kind of try to nail that on the head right now.
That man right there is a dog. We saw it last year. He's a dog and a competitor. The question is, do you blame Westbrook for what Antonio Davis was talking about, a soft team that's embarrassing their community? I defy you to blame Russell Westbrook for this.
LeBron is crazy glue. Everything works with him. Westbrook's just crazy. Here's the problem.
Crazy good.
Here's
and
the
a
thing.
dog and a competitor.
Okay, that's great. He plays hard. It's the NBA. Play hard. I'm not going to give you extra credit for playing hard. Here's the reality. So LeBron James gets fossil Dwayne Wade. D. Rose now's in Mexico somewhere. He gets Jay Crowder, and they're on a 9-game winning streak. Westbrook gets a Hall of Famer, Paul George. Every time I watch them, Steven Adams better, and they're 2-9 on the road.
You listen to Antonio Daniels and what he just went off about, and he's watching them every night.
He's exactly right.
He's not talking about Russell Westbrook. There's one guy whose resume won't take a hard foul, isn't a dog. It's Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony needs to go to the bench or to another city. That's the poison in OKC. Well, there's no question about it. We know what Russell Westbrook is. We saw him for 82 games last year, carry that team, win an MVP. They won 50-some-odd games. And you look up this year, and they're soft as butter, and Antonio Daniels is going off. It's got to be Carmelo.
I know what Russell Westbrook is. Struggles to play with others.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Steven,
struggles to
you
play.
go first, because I got to control myself.
I thought at the beginning of the season they was going to have a problem on defense. They fourth in defense in the league. They're playing great defense. I never would have thought it'd be a situation where we're talking about OKC has a problem scoring. And the reason why is because they take terrible shots. You can't ISO every play down. You can't. And another thing, these guys have to play their position. Russ, you have to be a point guard. Paul George, you have to be a shooting guard. You have to come off and score and make plays. And who we talking about now, Melo? You have to be a power forward. You have to rebound. You have to show them screens. You have to play your position. And with this team right now, they don't have an identity on offense because they're taking terrible shots and nobody's playing their position. Russ is coming out trying to be too perfect. You're not going to be perfect. Be the MVP. And once these guys learn how to play their position, Steven Adams is great. He's doing his job.
Yes,
he's doing a great job.
You picked him up 2 years
Their bench
ago.
is 28th in the league.
Yeah, their bench is
your starting small forward gets hacker-shacked.
Melo
Are you kidding me?
Has to be on the bench and the leader of the second unit, the same as Dwayne Wade.
The word leader, Antonio Daniels, there's only one leader on a basketball team. It's the point guard. Just as the quarterback is the leader of the NFL team, the point guard's got to be the leader. And I don't see leadership out of Russell Westbrook. They have the fewest passes in the NBA. That's fewest passes from a point guard with 2 superstars on the wing. You can't come in and tell Paul George, hey, Paul, go to the corner and shoot threes like Chris Bosh did in Miami. No.
Can't.
Paul George carried 2 teams to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Indiana Pacers back-to-back, okay? Russell Westbrook is the problem. Look, Carmelo Anthony hasn't even unpacked his boxes in OKC, all right? This guy just got there. I mean, this is all about Westbrook, and I don't care what people want to say. I know there's a...
What has Melo ever won in the NBA?
No, Melo's.
He went to the Western Conference Finals in Denver, and he did go to the playoffs with the Knicks. But I'm not saying you can't blame a guy who
has been to the NBA Finals. He's been in the Western Conference
Kevin
Finals.
Durant.
The media told me LeBron didn't even make top 3 MVP. Russell's the MVP. You got to figure this out.
Just got how much? $240 million.
Yes.
He wants Paul George to stay, right?
You're the one.
Otherwise, he's got nothing.
This team will be successful when Paul George becomes the leading scorer.
Well, Russell Westbrook has to do that if Paul George is going to stay, right?
You're the one.
Right.
You told me, I think last year on this show, and I think it's true. You told me the NBA media likes stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell Westbrook's a great story because he got his heart broken with KD. LeBron didn't get in the MVP voting. Westbrook won it going away. If you're the MVP, so I believe he's the MVP, you get Paul George, Melo, and improving Steven Adams. You can't win on the road?
Look, man.
You're telling me he's the MVP?
Look, man.
No bench.
Carmelo's resume speaks for itself. It is what it is. And most smart people knew when he came, he's a ball stopper, and it's like, how the hell is he going to fit with Westbrook and Paul George? And it makes perfect sense to bring this man off the bench, but he scoffed and laughed at that because of his ego. He won't acknowledge he's 33. He's at the end of his career. Again, I got all the evidence. I know what Russell Westbrook is. He showed it to me last year. I got 10 years of Carmelo. I know what the hell he is. This is on Carmelo. It's nice to beat up Westbrook. This is on Melo, in my view.
I don't think they're using Melo right, though. I think they can use
Yeah.
Melo.
I think Melo's hard to use.
Yeah.